I made a video a couple days ago on the Minelab Manticore's update on the new feature called Stabilizer. And in the comments section, somebody asked me if I wouldn't mind sharing my settings on the Minelab Manticore. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you guys today in this video, quick video for you. This settings I'm going to show you today are just on what I would consider to be like relics or in the iron. They would work perfectly as well in England in a plowed field as they would down in the south or in the east in a Civil War battlefield. So these are the settings that I use here in the California Gold Country in the camps. Speaking of that, and by the way, let me tell you, I'm going to do another one tomorrow for coins and parks, and then maybe the next day, if I have time, I'll do one for my personal settings at the beach. So you get all three of those over this week. I'll upload all those videos. But talking about relics, so what kind of relics do we find out here? Man, everything you can imagine. But we find a lot of spoons. I mean, these spoons, they were cheaply made. This one's made out of iron. And you can see they were just literally stamped out and sold by the merchants in Sacramento and Hangtown, Stockton. And when the miners came here, the first thing they did was they got all their supplies and they would buy these spoons, and they were big like this. Rarely ever do we see small ones. They're always these big spoons like these. They're cheaply made. They're made of brass like this, kind of just stamped out, real thin brass. Some have designs, most don't. Some of them, like I said, are just pure iron, just real cheap. But one thing we notice, especially on the older stuff, like these older pewter spoons, this dates from the late 1700s to the early 1800s. Something like this was probably pulled out of a drawer in Iowa or Missouri, and a gold miner that came out here brought it with him, and it was probably his grandmother or his mom's spoon, carried it with him and used it when he got here, and we find them. It predates the gold rush. And some of these other early pewter spoons, they're all broken off just like this. And the reason for that is they didn't want to carry this. It was tough to carry a big old spoon with a long handle like that. So it was easier for them to break the spoons off, and they would just use it like this. It was very practical and easy, and then you just put it right back in your pocket and then didn't have to worry about the handle. So we find these all the time, these little broken off spoons like this, and they're pretty cool. Like some of them are pretty early. And then we find silver spoons. These are all, everything on this table is gold rush era. So I consider the gold rush to be like 1850, well, 1848 to 55 really. It's like the heart of the gold rush. So all this stuff is real early, but anyway, these are the kind of things you'll find with these settings. So let's go ahead and jump into the settings real quick. Like I said, check back tomorrow. A couple more times this week, I'll give you my other settings on the beach and deep coins in the park. All right, here we go. All right, so these are my settings for heavy iron. So let's start at the bottom. First of all, you see that the discrimination pattern is on. I'm not in all metal. The scrim's on. We'll talk about this section over here in a minute. And I'm going to leave the sensitivity at 10 just for now while we're doing this. But anyway, you click on the middle cogwheel here, and we'll start from the bottom and work our way up. We're in the all-terrain fast program. That's what I prefer for hunting in the iron. You can see the other programs in here, but I'm in fast. And then we go up to noise cancel and ground balance. We'll do that in a minute. Recovery speed, so just cruising around and not really in the iron yet. I'm at 3. When I get in the iron, I can turn it up to a number that's appropriate for the amount of iron that I'm in. The higher the number I go, the more I'm trying to hear a coin or something really good hiding in all the heavy iron. So sometimes I go all the way up here to like 6 or 7. But just starting out, I start at 3. The problem with this is if you run this way up here and start swinging around and you're not in the heavy iron yet, you're losing depth. So try to keep that down for a while until you're getting in the real heavy iron. So anyway, we'll start at 3. Discrimination pattern, you can see I'm going to click on custom, and I have this section blocked off over here. Let's take a look at that real quick. So up here on the range, we're going to increase it. We'll go all the way out so I can show you I have everything from 0 to 15 blocked off. So you can do the same thing on your pattern, just custom block out that section. And let's see, we got the limit set at 9 and 5. And the ferrous volume running at 13, and that's a setting that I prefer with headphones. And let's see, we got ferrous pitch, 1. I like that real low grunt for iron. And stabilizer, I'm not going to be running that right now. If I do turn it on, I have it at 3. I'm not going to be running it for most scenarios. So at the very end of this video, I'll talk about that a little bit. But right now it's off. Actually, it's on. Let's turn it off. There we go. All right. And we're running 1 region all tones. So I want to hear everything from the bottom tone all the way to the high tone of 100. And we're in the enhanced audio profile. That means you can hear depth. Talk about that more in a minute at the end of this video too. And let's see, we got threshold level at 7. These are settings again for headphones. So threshold pitch 8. I'm running the rich audio profile. And running multi IQ. And that's really it, guys. I mean, other than, I would suggest that you run vibration on the handle if you aren't worried about the battery life. But make sure you have your red tonal ID on as well. That's another thing you can use to help you out. But those are my settings for heavy iron. That's how I go around when I'm just kind of trying to find the iron, and once I get in it, and once I'm really in there and the real heavy stuff, then like I said, I'll go down and change the recovery speed up to 6 or 7 if I have to. And if it's just crazy machine gun iron, I'm at 6 or 7. So, all right, there's that. Any questions, go down in the comments down below and let me know. I'll do another video tomorrow talking about my coin and park settings. But these are what I'm kind of looking with in areas like I'm out right here in this grassy relic area where there's some old 1850s stuff around here. These are the settings that I'll be using in a site like this. Well, that's a good sounding signal there. Have to dig that one in a minute. Turn 90 on it. Not bad. So I can still get it at 6 inches off the... Well, maybe not. It could be down there about 4 inches or so. We'll come back and check that in a minute. Well, that sounds good. And I'll dig both of those signals. All right, there's my setup for relics and heavy iron. So a couple notes on my setup though real quick. Like I said earlier, keep an eye on your recovery speed and bring it down when you're away from the iron, and keep an eye on it and bring it back up when you need to. But try to have it as low as you can so that you can maximize depth, and try not to cheat yourself out of depth by leaving it at 6 or 7 out in the open. Keep an eye on that. Other thing that you might have noticed is on my discrimination pattern, I have everything blocked out from 0 to 15. Now that setting is not for everybody. I just choose to do that because I choose not to dig anything down there from 0 to 15, but I gotta be honest with you, I've dug some pretty neat things from 0 to 15. For example, a 3-cent nickel, not a 3-cent silver, but a 3-cent nickel coin comes in there. I've dug small gold nuggets that would fall in that range. So just, you know, you don't have to do what I do, but I just choose to ignore all that stuff down there. I'm kind of really focusing on certain things, and those aren't what I'm focusing on. But if you're down in the South or on the East Coast and you're looking for pewter buttons and iron back buttons, you might want to leave 0 to 15 alone and have it open and listen to it. So there's that. Go ahead and leave a comment down below if you've tried this setup and what you think about it. Let me know if you have any questions about it. I'll see you guys tomorrow with another setup for parks and high conductors. So basically my coin setup. And then Thursday or Friday, I'll do a beach one as well with all my settings for the beach. And that's it. We'll see you guys in a couple days with a couple more videos. Thanks for checking this out. Bye.